The most famous story in all of history is for some reason looked on as a made-up myth. Can we prove if the Great Flood actually happened? This is history. Shit happens. People, typically the victors, record what happens. Future generations read those records and accept them as fact. The more often a certain event gets recorded, especially among cultures that had no influence among each other, the more likely it is that it actually happened. Starting with the most popular book in the world, the Bible, with the story of Noah's Ark. The world gets flooded, a man is told by God to build a giant ship to save every animal on the planet and rebuild civilization from scratch. Hindu mythology has the story of Manu, who's warned of an impending worldwide flood, builds a boat to survive, and keeps humans from going extinct. Ancient Mesopotamia shares the Epic of Gilgamesh, which was allegedly written before the Bible, where a guy is told a global flood is coming, builds a vessel to save humanity. In Greek mythology, Zeus gets angry, floods the earth, Prometheus helps a man and his wife build a boat and restart civilization. Chinese legends have the Great Flood of Gunyu. Mayans had the civilization resetting flood of the god Huracan. The Incas from South America that predate the Mayans had the Unu Pachacuti, a great flood that wiped out a race of unruly people. Native American tribes all had their own versions of a great flood that cleansed the earth. Polynesian cultures have the story of Niu'u, who built an ark and sea gods flooding the earth, among many other similar tales. African cultures have a variety of flood myths with the same thematic elements. Even Aboriginal Australians have legends like the Bundaba flood with the exact same story arc, all of which end with select chosen ones surviving the flood and rebuilding society on earth. Dude, these stories of floods are obviously just made up myths that all coincidentally share the same plot. If they were real, they'd be in my history textbook. We're not allowed to question history, bro. We obviously already know everything. Well, it's a good thing they didn't just find an archaeological site in the shape of a massive ship in a similar location and age as some of the recorded flood stories. Oh wait, they did. Uncovered in Turkey. 3D scans done on site revealed a man-made structure beneath, with remains of wood in the shape of a boat and measurements similar to that of the flood myths, along with fossilized rivets and petrified deck timber, materials typically only used to build boats. Then you have countless places around the world with geological evidence of immense flooding, hundreds of times more powerful than any water flow we've ever witnessed. You've got the Kamas Prairie in Idaho, the Dry Falls Formation in Washington, and Dry Creek in Montana have landscapes that were carved with water flows 10 to 20 times greater than every single river on Earth combined. Intense water erosion around the Sphinx in Egypt. The Sahara Desert is filled with these ripples, potentially indicative of colossal, widespread flooding. Same with Warburton Creek in Australia, which has even got salt deposits. Geologists found evidence of intense flooding along the Yellow River in China. Aerial scans reveal monumental flood progression throughout all of South America. Fossils of fish found as high as the Himalayan mountains, all of which has only become visible to us within the last 100 years through technology like satellites. So maybe historians are just too stubborn to rewrite their books after clinging to them for so long. This all leads to what is called the Younger Dryas Impact Theory, a proposed global event that caused significant shifts in human culture around 11,000 BC. I mean, it's clearly not 100% proven, just speculation with a mountain of evidence, which is in a sense what all of history is. None of us were there when any of this happened, so we have to look at historic records, archaeology, and geological evidence and make rational conclusions from that. But you Google debunkers, feel free to stitch this into your own little debunking video, because I invite all perspectives on every topic. The question remains, why would they even want to hide historic discoveries like this? I don't know about you, but I feel like the idea of an inevitable civilization resetting global cataclysm wouldn't sit well with anyone and likely cause worldwide anarchy. Even billionaire John D. Rockefeller, who funded the General Education Board in 1903, is infamously quoted as saying, "I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers." So when you have countless retellings of the same story spanning multiple cultures around the world who never made contact with each other, archaeological evidence that may or may not be remnants of artifacts from these stories, and geological patterns that align with the events that took place in these stories, it's obviously just a myth. Yet not a single record of the Egyptians actually building the pyramids themselves, easily the greatest achievement of their civilization. And somehow that's a historical fact, but this isn't. What do I know? I'm just a dumb online misinformation theorist, right? I prefer to quote Einstein instead. Education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think.